Helldivers 2 developers Arrowhead Game Studios have a motto: a game for everyone is a game for no one, and this rings absolutely true for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 developers Warhorse Studios, whose uncompromising vision of its perfect game has born a truly phenomenal and unique experience that is one of the best games I've ever played. I said as much in my Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 preview, but there's really nothing quite like it save for that first title. That original game found its way into my top 10 when I first played it, and today, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has joined its rightful place alongside my now top 11. If I had to sell it to you, imagine the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind with the production values of Baldur's Gate 3 and the granular gameplay of Deus Ex and the Stalker games in a realistic 15th century Kingdom of Bohemia. Whilst Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 stands up on its own, it is best enjoyed and judged if you've played that first game. After the credits rolled, I looked back on the countless hours of adventures with the protagonist Henry across the two games and couldn't help but be overcome with the enormity of it all. It truly feels like an adventure of a lifetime that ranges from crushing, heart-wrenching blows, hilarious moments, all the way to debaucherous revelry as Henry finds himself in a world plunged into chaos. Both games are absolutely massive, but are comprised of so many personal moments featuring a dizzying number of characters that only balloons in the sequel, with a story that's captivating, funny, human, touching, and tragic. Even small minor players are well written and fleshed out, and I wanted to stop and talk to them all and complete every side quest I came across. But by the end, the game leaves you questioning your motives and holds you account to your actions, of which there are a staggering amount of paths to take. Like many RPGs, you can talk, intimidate, or fight your way out of situations, but KCD2 allows you to explore other avenues, much like an immersive sim. All this, paired with the stunning vistas of the new Troskowitz and Kuttenberg regions, makes for an incredibly exciting, dynamic world to explore full of secrets, danger, wonder, and unforgettable moments. Starting with Troskowitz, it's a beautiful and brilliant stomping ground for coming to grips with the game and its innumerable systems. It's smaller and more rural, but prepares you well for the Kuttenberg region, and despite the main attraction being the city of Kuttenberg itself, many of the surrounding villages are much bigger than any of the towns in Troskowitz. It can be overwhelming, especially as the plot opens up and features more characters grappling with the bizarre politics of the nobility, but you're right there with Henry, who is equally bewildered, making it all feel really natural. Eventually, you start to gain your footing in this dangerous new land, and looking back to the squabbles of Troskowitz, which you can also travel back to after completing the game, it seems downright quaint in comparison. Exploring these lands, I felt like a spoiled historical tourist. So much of my time was spent obsessing over the impossible amount of little details in the authentically crafted medieval world, but ultimately, it's the people who inhabit it that make it feel lived in. Warhorse Studios came under fire for lack of diversity in the first game, and it's clear in the sequel that the developers have listened and learned. Across both regions, you will find an authentically rich diaspora of diverse peoples that go a long way to making the world feel a lot more believable for all the right and the wrong reasons. It's really great to see representation for communities that existed then and still do, but like today, many of these groups, such as the Romani people in the Troskowitz region, are marginalised and demonised by many. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a realistic game after all, and to gloss over the hardships past and present would be a disservice. Playing KCD2, there is a great sense of the more things change, the more things stay the same. Whilst technology, laws and society have progressed massively, we are ultimately the same humans as we ever were. The realistic settings help ground this all, making the plight of oppressed peoples, women and the peasantry feel all the more poignant, as well as making the funny and heartwarming moments even more so. And helping to provide context for all this is a wonderful codex which provides a huge amount of insight into 15th century Bohemia and beyond, all while being beautifully presented with medieval art. And something that I really appreciate about Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is that it never really pretends to not be a video game. With such a hugely ambitious project, there is the odd rough edge. One for me was that the city of Kuttenberg, for all its grandeur and splendour, felt a bit more like set dressing at times, with many closed off buildings and regions that felt at odds with the open-ended values of the game. Some of these areas are closed off for plot points later on, but in the codex, Warhorse explains that due to optimizations and the like, they had to make it the way it is. Nothing is hidden from the player, so instances such as these are much easier to accept. But now it is time for a few complaints. Whilst the game is lovely to look at and runs very well, and even runs on the Steam Deck, the game could benefit from some more advanced graphics features. Hardware ray-traced ambient occlusion would work wonders, as CryEngine's software solution can fall short sometimes, with characters having distracting glowing features and dark scenes at times. Another is that the game feels quite leery at times. It's not quite as raunchy as Baldur's Gate 3, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 comes off far more awooga smashing head with mallet, eyes popping out than the former does, if that makes any sense. The romantic aspect of the game is optional, and whilst the dialogue is good, when it comes to the intimate scenes, it's not always quite so tactful. But back to my preview, I said that I enjoyed the streamlined combat system, and I did, until I learned Master Strikes and found it pretty easy to cheese after the fact. You can experiment with other weapons, but Master Strikes allow you to completely dominate opponents, save for a few expert swordsmen out there. Perhaps this is more realistic, but even going up against larger groups, enemies wouldn't do much to flank or swarm you. Perhaps I'm just a expert gamer, but I only died a handful of times in combat. This is something that will be addressed in the upcoming hardcore mode, but I would have liked the extra challenge in the here and now. The AI can be a bit funky too, and won't really react to you at times. This is especially evident when using a bow or crossbow from a distance, with some severe, oh, must have been the wind moments, as NPCs don't really go looking for you despite an arrow sticking out of their neck. These are just minor quibbles when compared to the game as a whole though. Not very long into my playthrough, I knew I'd be awarding Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 5 stars, and here we are. In my opinion, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and the original are essential must-play games, and I absolutely implore you to go out there and enjoy them. But with that said, to commemorate such a wonderful series that I've had so much fun with over the years, I think it's high time I crack this open. I picked this up at the Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 preview event at GDS Prague, and well, I can't think of a better moment. And something else that's really cool is that it was brewed in Malashov, which is a location that you can visit in the game. How cool is that? Now, please do enjoy me trying to open this with the tiniest little bottle opener I could find, so this is going to be quite embarrassing probably. This has also been on a plane and oh, it smells really good. Oh, let's just give that a moment. I have a lot of expensive equipment in here. Oh, easy does it. Oh, there we go. We made it. Well, Henry and Warhorse Studios, fortuna audentis juvat. Oh, that's lovely. Well, I don't really want to leave this one open for a while and go flat for this evening, so at 1:30 in the afternoon, I'm going to enjoy this while I edit this video. Cheers. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like, share, and do consider subscribing to the Radio Times Gaming YouTube channel. We'll see you next time. Well, that's cracking.